Welcome to the Pew.
Pew. Still in Tompkins Square Park.
Still in Tompkins Square Park.
And surprisingly, nobody has begged us for money yet. Unlike Bryant Park, where somebody burst into...
Did they?
Yes, don't you remember
Oh,
that?
yeah.
They
Yep.
just burst in.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's really easy to get cruised here.
Oh,
Because
God.
I've had at
it's
least
impossible not to get
two
cruised
men,
here.
kind of like look at me and smile at me as they're walking by.
Scott and David.
No, other men. So we're flashing this mural on the wall because I thought it was hilarious, and it appeared.
Now, was that made by by an artist, or was it made by the music company?
Well, either the artist or the music company on the artist's behalf. So basically, it says nobody cares if you don't go to the party, and it's some kind of stealth advertising for the Australian performer Courtney Barnett, who I absolutely love, and I thought it was very funny, and it raised this conversation about FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes, which
she
has
has
in spades.
Yes, Michael has it in spades, and we think
He has
that
it in clubs.
we pretty much think that everybody in New York City has it to one degree or another.
But the question is, do they have it because they're in New York City, or do they come to New York City because they have it? Right. In my case, I came to New York City because I have it, and in your case,
well, I don't know if I had it before I moved to New York City. I knew that I was missing stuff in New York City. I would say that I had NOMO.
That's the definition, though. If you know it, that's the definition of fear. I mean,
but fear sometimes. But sometimes with FOMO, you don't even know what you're missing. You just are convinced that you're missing something.
Yeah, but
But I knew the specific things that I was missing, that I wanted to see, like the Mud Club.
Well, all right.
And Crisco Disco.
Okay. I mean, the first time that we did this, you said a psychiatrist will tell you.
The first time I said the Mud Club.
Yes, and a psychiatrist will tell you that the first thing that comes to your mind is the real you. It's a word association. So when you said it was Mud Club, and then you said no, it was Crisco Disco, which means that the image you want to portray is actually Crisco Disco. So you really want to portray like a sleazy queen. I guess that's the real you.
Oh yes. So I don't see how either the Mud Club or Crisco Disco portrays, a better image. I mean.
Well, nobody ever said it was better. They said it was the real you.
Oh, okay. The real. Well, what viewers you decide? Am I Mud Club or am I Crisco Disco?
What are you?
Am I a little bit country or am I a little bit rock
and roll?
We'll be right back.
And now a word from our sponsor. Welcome back to the Pew.
Welcome back to the Pew, where the subject of job hunting came up this week. And of course, when people think of job hunting, they think of Career Builder.
And resumes.
Because a lot of people actually use the internet to look for a job, and Career Builder is one of the big job hunting sites. They had this ridiculous article on their site about which words you shouldn't use when you go on a job interview because it would turn off the HR people.
And of course, the words the first, we played this game with ourselves, and the first words that I came up with were drug addict and prostitute.
And my first words were crack whore, which is essentially the same
put both
thing.
of my words together.
Right, but I had other words too. I had you couldn't use chronically late. And you couldn't
lazy.
And you couldn't
so you don't
say
want to
lazy.
be a late, lazy crack whore.
That's always
that's
late.
one thing you don't want to be when you're applying for a job is a late, lazy crack whore.
No, don't describe yourself that way to the HR recruiter.
Or maybe you might not get the job.
No, unless it's at Pimps R Us, and then maybe you will get the job. But I don't even think pimps.
I don't think they're hiring right now.
I don't even think pimps like lazy crack whores.
No, nobody likes a lazy crack whore.
No. And unless
you have a fetish for lazy crack whores.
The more crack addicted you become, the more lazy the crack whore is, because they just want the money.
And they lose all enthusiasm.
Right. There's no gusto.
No.
They're just doing it, going through the motions.
Yeah.
So.
And just barely at that.
So Career
Builders. Nothing worse than getting a blowjob from somebody who's just going through the motions.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I have $20?
That's a very good imitation of a lazy crack whore. Ernie Glam's imitation of a lazy crack whore, ladies and gentlemen.
Career builder's word that you shouldn't use is best of breed.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, who the hell uses that in an interview?
Well, first of all, I was shocked to learn that Ernie did not know that to breed means to be fucked, and I guess in the gay community, and
I didn't know that was gay slang.
I mean, it's so common, it's so prevalent. It's like, you know, people are asking to on dating sites and everything. They're asking you, begging to be bred, breed me. I mean, what do you think that means?
I don't go on sex sites.
No, well.
So how would I know?
I don't know.
Well, bitches want to know. JD Daly wants to know, since we mentioned my life with the Thrill Kill Cult last week, he wants to know what celebrities or bands we did party with. And frankly, I can barely remember. I mean, if I partied with any. I know I partied with Black Flag in the 80s, but that was before I moved to New York City. And I partied with the Dead Kennedys too, I believe. But that was also before I moved.
And apparently we partied with celebrities that we didn't know it. That we would, you know, I mean, Marilyn Manson is a really good example.
Yeah.
But and also apparently my life with the Thrill Kill Cult, because there are pictures of it, but I don't remember it.
I don't remember it either.
But there are pictures. And then there's the thing with Grace Jones, and you and saying about the
oh right, us sitting with Grace Jones and putting the contact in her champagne and telling her it's ecstasy.
I don't remember that at all.
I do remember sitting at the building and hanging out with Nate Sereb.
I was going to say Nine Inch Nails.
But I don't know if that was really partying. We were just sitting there, and I was interviewing them for Project X, and we were having cocktails.
Yeah, it's partying.
So is that partying,
yes,
or is that an interview?
It's partying.
It almost seemed like business.
It's a party view.
See you next time.
Bye.